Clothes Closet was providing not just free clothes and shoes, but we were helping families, displaced families, domestic violence situations and stuff, with people starting all over with furniture and household items and whatnot. So I know that I've only got about 4 minutes to kind of tell you what we are doing now and the dynamic shift that we're doing. So we have completely gone to a mobile drive-through distribution for our food pantry. We just started this 2 weeks ago, and we have 5 established sites just for our food pantry. And then we still have 7 fresh food sites. But we went mobile through a drive-through to kind of keep in compliance and stay within that safe social distancing place. And it is working wonderfully. The 5 locations we have one at Bethany United Methodist Church every Monday. We have one on the Cedar Park Leander border at Good News United Methodist Church. We've got one in Liberty Hill. We've got 2 in Leander every Thursday, and then the first and third Saturday. We are still continuing our fresh food programs and going out. We were out in Jonestown this morning, and we go all over Williamson County as well as Bethany, Cedar Park, and we then also serve 2 ACC campuses. What we've seen just in the last few weeks is not only a huge increase in the families that we served. Just in the last 2 weeks of March, we increased our families by 250 families. So if you can imagine, we normally serve 1,500 families. We just added 250 in that last 2 weeks of March. We've done 9 distributions to date in April. And of those 9 distributions, we already served over 800 families. We are doing delivery programs. So we are taking delivery programs, and we're working with John Busey's office, and they have about a database of about 30 volunteers that are taking groceries out to people that are homebound, that have high risk of contracting this virus, and they're going to actually delivering. So they're using our food pantry to help just deliver that. They come in, they pack up boxes and go out and distribute those. As far as what we're looking for, really right now, we are only looking for monetary donations and then volunteers. And I say monetary because we don't have the ability, obviously, to have a ton of volunteers in our tiny space. We want to, again, just try to keep everybody safe. We don't have the capability of taking a whole lot of food donations directly from the public. We are a platinum partner with Central Texas Food Bank, and I saw that Elizabeth is on the phone, so I'll let her talk more about that. But we receive primarily most all of our food from them. We are a platinum partner. So when I say every dollar counts, I mean, for $25, you can provide 100 meals. So basically that breaks it down to like a quarter a meal. And so we, again, get our food primarily from them. And I tell you what, in the last 3 weeks, our food purchase has increased 400%. And that's what we were kind of expecting when this all started. Majority of our food does get donated, but because as you can imagine, with the shelves being bare at the local markets and whatnot, we're not getting a whole lot of donations. So we were already kind of preparing, and that's what we're marketing, is trying to say, look, we're going to have to buy more food. And again, with the relationships that we have, it's pennies on the dollars through Central Texas Food Bank and stuff. And so that's one way. And then the other way is some volunteers. Going to that drive-through distribution, we have the ability to keep only maybe 4 or 5 volunteers in the food pantry to pack up boxes and load up a truck. We need a truck driver, maybe, or 2 that can drive and when I say a truck, it's like a U-Haul truck. If you want to serve at any one of those campuses, you are able to. We're just putting the groceries in the trunk of the car, so there's not really any, contact with the public whatsoever. We provide masks, gloves, sanitizers, wipes, and such. So, and then if you want to be a part of the delivery program, I know that basically in the last week or so, they've come and basically packed up, I want to say nearly 80 to 90 boxes of groceries and taken them to people in the Northwest Austin and Williamson County area. Any questions?
That is, first of all, I just want to thank you for all you do in the community. And I want to thank you just for being here today and to sharing that. We'll get into the questions in a little bit on the Q&A. But again, thanks for being here, and thanks for all the work you and your organization do in the community.
Thank you so much. And also real quick, just it says my email address right there. It's Tiesa, TIESA .Holloway at HCCM or HCCM.org. So I just wanted to kind of clarify.
I knew we would have a typo. We'll fix that.
Amber, yeah.
That was my fault. That was my fault.
No, it's okay.
To recap for everybody, all of these slides with the links and ways to support are going to be available and on our district website. So know that you don't have to take notes here. Pam's going to get that loaded up for us right after the meeting today. Thank you, Tiesa. I'll get that fixed.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, and stay on because we'll have a Q&A in just a little bit. Again, if everyone who's on the call, if you can go ahead and go to stop video so we can only have just the speaker. Whoever's talking on video, it's going to help with the bandwidth. And then you can get back on video at the end. Thank you for that. All right, so next we have Elizabeth Pena. She's the Agency Services Director of the Central Texas Food Bank. Elizabeth, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is actually my first web-based presentation on behalf of the food bank in the entire 8 years I've worked here and been doing presentations. So this is fun. And my mom is a member of her local Rotary Club, so I have a special place in my heart for Rotarians. So a little bit of background information. Some of what I'm going to say is going to be a little bit of a repeat of what Tiesa said, but I've heard some statistic that you can hear the same thing like a dozen times and still not have it stick. So maybe it'll be helpful. So the Central Texas Food Bank is the largest hunger relief organization in Central Texas. We provide food directly to a network of 250 plus partner agencies. So those are partners that are like Tiesa's. They're either a food pantry or a soup kitchen, and they're getting the bulk of their food directly from us at the food bank. We cover a 21 county service territory. So we go north past Waco, south to San Marcos, east almost to College Station, and then west out to Fredericksburg. So it's a pretty big region where our partners are covering. Pre-COVID-19, our network of partner agencies had been serving about 46,000 people a week. Those were just food insecure people we were getting food to on a regular basis. And most of our folks are people who have a job, they're not homeless, they're folks that are just sort of living paycheck to paycheck and they need a little help to get by. And so our partners are where they go to get that assistance. Now with COVID, we're seeing more people than ever finding themselves in need of food assistance for the very first time. You know, this was that one crisis situation, one emergency situation that really pushed their family over the edge into needing this kind of support. So the number of new households we're seeing seeking out assistance has more than doubled at our average distributions, particularly in the urban areas. We're seeing doubling, sometimes almost tripling of the number of people coming out to get assistance at those sites where they can get groceries. And then we've also been seeing a steady increase in people coming out to get support at some of our more rural locations and pantries as well. The only places where we're seeing a decrease or a decline is the partners that were primarily serving elderly folks, so seniors. Obviously, with the social distancing rules in place and seniors being a little bit more at risk of contracting COVID, we're seeing people retreating. So one of the things that we've done at the food bank is we've shifted our own model of how we're distributing food. Just like Tiesa mentioned, every single one of our partners that is operational has had to shift their distributions. We personally at the food bank, the ones that we operate ourselves, are all drive-through now. We're pre-boxing food on site at our facility. We're making tens of thousands of emergency boxes to give out. And then we're operating a drive-through only distribution model. We also are working with our partners to adapt their models. So some of our partners have been able to transition to a curbside pickup model where they're taking appointments and having people drive up curbside to get their orders. or doing direct home delivery. So some of those sites that were primarily serving seniors have now had to try to ramp up to be doing delivery to folks who maybe can't get out of their homes, or targeting households that have actually been quarantined because of COVID, so that we can try and still get folks that food that they're needing. And then we've had some partners that don't have the capacity to switch to a drive-through or to curbside or delivery. And so they're just really having to greatly modify how their pantry operations are working, you know, limiting the number of people coming in, routinely cleaning off shelves, those sorts of things. There's surprisingly a number of different ways that you can support right now. As Thaisa mentioned, one of our network's largest sources of food before COVID was rescued product that comes to us from grocery stores or other food retailers. As you can imagine, that source of food has really dried up over the past several weeks under the current circumstances. That means we, the food bank, are having to directly purchase more food than ever in order to keep our partners stocked with the resources that they need to keep up with the increase in demand that they're seeing. Purchased food is obviously significantly more expensive to us than rescued food is. And so that's been difficult, but we're also having to source boxes. We are purchasing, you know, a uniform size box that fits all the components that we need to have put into it. And then also, you know, nicely stack onto a pallet. So we're maximizing the efficiency of our trucks when we're filling them with these pallets of boxes. So all that to say, like Thaisa mentioned, monetary donations really do go a very long way right now because of the way we've had to shift our model. The food bank is also still accepting public volunteers. We've greatly reduced the number of people per shift, and those are filling up quickly, so we're really thankful for that. But many of our partners are still in need of volunteer support. You know, Thaisa's Pantry is fortunate that it has paid staff, but a number of our partner agencies actually don't have paid staff and rely on volunteers, and often rely on retirees or older folks to be the main people running their distributions, running their pantries. And so a lot of our partners are finding themselves in need of volunteers right now. So that's one of the main ways, I think, especially if you want to give back locally, tracking down your local food pantry, your local food kitchen, and just saying, hey, how can I help? You know, I have a network of a few people that want to come out and help. What can we do? Can we pack boxes off site for you? What ways can we be creative to work together? And then the last way I'd say you could get involved is by being an advocate. If you know someone who's lost their job or finds themselves in need for the first time, tell them about the food bank, tell them about our partners. We're here in it for the long haul. You know, we're fortunate to be considered an essential service and able to operate under all the shelter in place rules. And so we're here. We're going to keep providing food for people as long as they need it. The easiest ways to get more information from the food bank are to visit our website, centraltexasfoodbank.org. When you go to that website, we have a nice tool at the top that says Find Food Now. It's in the top right corner. If you click on that, it's designed to help folks find their nearest pantry if they're in need of resources. But even for you, if you want to go and click Find Food Now and type in your zip code or your city, it'll show you the nearest pantry partner that's closest to you. So it also just helps pinpoint your nearest pantry, whether you need help or not. And so that can be one way to narrow down, you know, who should I reach out to if I want to try and volunteer. But yeah, that website, centraltexasfoodbank.org, and that Find Food Now tool are, you know, some of the easiest ways to get more info. And thank you again for having me. I'll definitely stick around in case there are any questions.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for being here and for all the amazing work you and your organization do and all your partner organizations all over Central Texas. And yes, stay tuned because we'll have some questions at the end. And just to remind, if you have any questions during this entire presentation, please go to the chat section on the Zoom and make a mark it very clearly of who you're asking the question to, and we'll make sure to get it answered. Okay, so next we have Thomas Mead. He's the Donor Engagement Manager at We Are Blood here in Central Texas. Thomas, thanks for being here.
excited to be able to share with everybody about We Are Blood and about our mission. I don't know how many people are familiar with We Are Blood. You may know us by a different name. Until about 3 years ago, we went by the Blood and Tissue Center of Central Texas. We went through a big rebrand and came out with the name We Are Blood, but our mission did not change at all. We still serve 40 Central Texas hospitals spread across 10 counties centered around Austin. So we are based out of Austin. We have 3 permanent donation centers, and we also operate between 90 and 120 mobile blood drives a month. Under normal conditions, we should be collecting about 200 whole blood donations every day, as well as about 40 units of platelets every day. All the blood that we collect is processed at our facility, at our main office on North Lamar, and it's turned into blood products that are used at these 40 local hospitals for human transfusion. So anything that's donated to us is actually used to save lives right here in Central Texas. Obviously, just like everybody else, we've been affected by the pandemic. The biggest thing for us has been the cancellation of mobile blood drives. You can imagine with everything that's gone on, the closures of high schools, colleges, businesses, a lot of churches have had to shut down and close up their doors. And that's really affected our ability to have mobile drives. So we've seen actually 120 drives canceled over the last 3 weeks. So basically from mid-March through April, we've had to reinvent our calendar on the fly. And this is not a unique issue for our area. You've probably seen news reports or seen commercials. The Surgeon General has been very vocal in supporting the need for healthy individuals to go out and donate blood during this time, just to make sure that we're maintaining a blood supply to help people who are in need and in need of transfusions at hospitals. Here in Central Texas, we've actually been very fortunate. The community has really answered the call that we've put out for blood donations. We've had great turnout at our blood centers the last 3 weeks. We've also had a number of organizations that have really stepped up and been willing to schedule some last-minute blood drives to replace ones that we've lost off our calendar. And the current donor level and the current turnout has been great, and paired with the fact that hospitals are reducing the number of non-essential procedures that they're doing, as well as the fact that most people are adhering to the stay-at-home orders and are staying home, we're seeing less usage in our blood supply. So those kind of things all work together to put us in a position where our blood supply for the community is very stable at the moment and has been stable throughout this pandemic. However, one thing about blood donation is that there's always an ongoing need, and it's almost always urgent. Individuals are always going to be called on to donate blood for a couple of reasons. The first one is that hospital usage can change at any time, and so we need to be ready to address that. And the other is that an individual can only donate blood once every 56 days, but that unit of blood that we collect is only suitable for human transfusion for 42 days. So you can kind of see right away from those numbers that we're always going to be in a position of pursuing new donors to try to keep our inventory level high. The biggest way that you can help us at this point in time is to schedule an appointment to donate blood. It's really simple. You can visit our website, weareblood.org. You can go, there's a big button right at the top that says make an appointment. You can click on there. We have a map feature where you can find a drive that might be in your area, as well as our donation centers, which are located in South Austin, in Central Austin, and in Round Rock. And then also, if you are interested and you have a number of people that are willing, and you're a little bit further away from one of those donor centers, you can also schedule your own mobile drive in your community. I think one of the big things that I want to stress with this message that I'm delivering is this need is ongoing. So if you were to go on today and schedule an appointment with We Are Blood, you would see that our donation centers, the appointment schedules are basically filled for the next week. So you would be going on there and filling up an appointment for later in April or possibly even May at this point. I just don't want people to see that and think that there's not a need, because the need is ongoing, as I mentioned. And any donation that you were to give to We Are Blood, whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, or in June, every donation of blood is important, and every donation of blood helps to save lives. So anything that you can do to come in and make some time, it's a a process that takes less than an hour. Some donors can be in and out in as little as 30 minutes. We are taking a lot of steps to minimize the risk to donors. Unlike the food bank, donating blood is not something that we can switch to a drive-through or limit the contact. Our staff obviously does have to be in close proximity to the donor in order to draw their blood, but we are taking other steps to try to ensure that anybody who enters one of our facilities or one of our bus or mobile drives is going through proper procedures to make sure things are sanitized, and also keeping a good spacing away from other donors or any staff that they do not have to be directly in contact with to complete their donation. That's really the gist of what I brought today, and I'm really happy that I could come on in and talk about this.
Thank you so much, Thomas, for all you do and for all your community, your organization does for the community. And thank you for being here today.
Thanks.
Next, we have Mickey Powers, who is a fellow Rotarian and president of the South Austin Club. She's also a homeless advocate, and she runs a soup kitchen in South Austin and wants to talk about the needs of soup kitchens and her own. So Mickey, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, I'm a small potato compared to the ones that have spoken thus far, but the need is great in a very many different kinds of organizations. So I'm glad to talk to you about mine. About a half a mile east of I-35 on Ben White Boulevard, next to what used to be Dance Cross, Texas, is something that looks like a red roof parking garage. And that's what you probably think it is, as a red roof parking garage, but believe it or not, underneath that, over 160 people live in rooms. Some live two to a room and some are in private rooms. One of the problems there is that we're sort of a living petri dish, because they all share bathrooms and bathrooms and showers. So we really have a problem on our hands with the kind of thing that's going on right now. The tenants that we serve are the working poor. We have people that are just out of homelessness, that might have just gotten a job to pay, earn about accidentally. We have a few end of life issues there. We're kind of their family in a way, and you know, their next place would probably be their final trip to a hospital. The other group of people that is quite large there are people that are coming out of jail and prison. As you might suspect, not a lot of landlords necessarily want to rent to them. And our facility, for the price you'd pay for a motel for one night in Austin, or a hotel, you can have a whole week at our facility. And that's where the soup kitchen comes in. In the evening from 5:30 to 6:30, Monday through Friday, we run a soup kitchen there. And that soup kitchen is blessed to be a partner with the Central Texas Food Bank, who you've already heard from. We get almost all of our stuff from them. And she is so correct in saying the problem is that it's being bought off the shelves. And so the amount of donations that are available there is not what it used to be. In particular, in my case, I really like the sweets and the things, because we have a lot of people that are either former drug addicts or practicing addicts sometimes, we hope not, but they use sweets as a substitute. And so we're really missing on those. We're fortunate to have a Shipley's Donuts on Brody Lane that gives to us 3 to 5 times a week. There's stuff that's left over at the end of the day. Today, however, they totally sold out, so we didn't get any, so we won't have any there for the weekend. We also have a donation from the Longhorn Steakhouse in South Park Meadows. They give us all of their usable trimmings from their steaks, their baked potatoes, and their sweet potatoes. And we make a lot of different things from those, besides the things that we get from the Central Texas Food Bank. Our kitchen normally has been serving, some of our people work and they take care of their own food needs, but we had been serving around 60 to 65 people per night, and that has jumped to about 85 people a night, if not more. There are people that do come in from the street also. We've been a little bit stricter with them these days, because normally, you know, if they really pleaded with us, they to go take a shower. We just cannot have people down in the living sections now, so and eat somewhere else just because of the people to infect them, because we're such like a sin. In our case is that we already got their own place setting, a cup and a bowl and a spoon and whatever, and now we can't touch those things from people's rooms. So now we have a real big need for these styrofoam clam shells that you get as a takeout. That is adding about $50 a week to my expenses. Normally, I've been spending about $125 in just what they call handling fees at the Central Texas Food Bank. And I've been able to get along at feeding 80 or 90 people, believe it or not, on $125 a week. But now there's a whole nother $50 added to that for these clamshells as well as paper cups. So I'm in great need of anybody that wants to order on Amazon, or if you're a Samson's has packages of 125 of those clamshells. I cut them in half so I can make 250 plates out of those, and it costs about $12. So some of my Rotary friends in my club have Amazoned me some have purchased them and dropped them off at my place, or I'm certainly willing to come pick them up, that or plastic cups. We can usually use plastic serving things like knives and forks and spoons, that sort of thing, is also very helpful. Money again, and several people have mentioned this, and you hate like heck to always be asking for money, but I'm now serving so many more, and I constantly, bless Central Texas Food Bank's heart, I constantly have a running debt with them. And I shoot as much money as I can get in their direction all the time, but I always have a bill. And I can certainly use some funds to help with this particularly needy group. I'm particularly dedicated to these folks because it really serves the whole community. If we can get these people successful and get them out there into the working situations, we won't have them coming back to prison. It costs Texans a lot of money to support their prisons, not to mention the families that are split up. So this kind of a facility that we have that's willing to house people and feed them is a real benefit to all of Central Texas, or Texas that will not have to pay for someone to go back to jail because they weren't successful. My information is on the board in front of you, and anything that you have that might help. We also have a clothes closet, so we're interested in clothes. We have men and women both, particularly jeans and work boots and that sort of thing for people to have jobs. Thank you very much.
Mickey, thank you so much. You do such a great job for the community, and thank you for all you're doing, and thank you for being here today. Okay, so next we have Anna Campbell. She's the volunteer manager at Mobile Loaves and Fishes in Central Texas and Community First Village, which is an awesome place. So Anna, thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. So yeah, Mobile Loaves and Fishes serves the chronically homeless in the Austin, Texas area. And I'm going to talk specifically about kind of how COVID has affected operations at Community First Village, and ways that, that's happened, and ways that you can support us there. So Community First Village is a permanent housing community in East Austin for folks who've experienced chronic homelessness. So we have about 170 neighbors that live out there who have been on the streets for many years of their life. And on average, our average age of residence is about 55, and average time on the streets is about 10 years. So it's certainly a very vulnerable population to this virus in particular, because of the age and just like vulnerability and health and compromised immune systems. And so we have been working really hard to keep things at the village like very clean, and to keep our neighbors on site as much as possible. We've really limited the number of people coming out there. So we've canceled all of our volunteer opportunities, like for the foreseeable future. I guess at this point we've canceled everything through the beginning of May. And we have really tried to limit the number of guests that our neighbors are bringing onto the property. So for an organization that is built on community and built on human to human and heart to heart connections, is often what we say, that's pretty hard. I mean, it's hard for our residents who are used to, on average, I think we have about 285 just volunteers out at the village each week. So without volunteers, without people who are coming out for tours or coming out for different events, and just all of those different activities that we have going on to really keep our neighbors engaged and building community, to have all of that, you know, taken away at this time for their health and safety is pretty hard. And so I think a big thing, if you would just like be thinking of them and you know, lifting them up and sending good thoughts for comfort and for community amongst this. We also have a lot of different micro enterprise opportunities for our neighbors to earn dignified income. And a lot of those are centered around people coming into the village. So without those people coming into the village, a lot of those opportunities have had to shift and change around. So instead of having, you know, our residents leading volunteers or working in our car shop or working in the art house or working in different programs like that, we've increased our cleaning contracts a lot. So we have a lot of community spaces. We want to keep those extra clean and sanitized multiple times a day. We've also, our catering team has been working really hard to provide meals Monday through Friday throughout the week for our neighbors, and then on Friday to also be able to have an extra meal or multiple extra meals that we can give residents to sustain them through the weekend. Also to hopefully keep them from going to the grocery store as much as possible, and just again limiting that exposure. So like everybody else has said, as we've adjusted and as things have changed, it's you know, created a change in the inflow of people and of resources, and also created a different need and different ways that we're more expenses that we didn't expect, and more kind of shuffling around. And so we've tried to be really aware of those and meet needs where we're able. So the folks that I have listed here, well, if you go to our general website, which is just mlf.org for Mobile Loaves and Fishes, the very first thing on there is a link to our COVID-19 response page. And from there you can find more. Like everybody else has said, honestly, monetary donations are huge because it enables us to buy food in bulk so we can prepare those bulk meals, and allows us to be able to, you know, keep paying cleaning contracts for residents. So Courtney Harris right there would be the person to contact on our relationships and giving team if you have questions about that. And then if you would like to order any kinds of microwavable meals or non-perishable food items, like everybody else, we're looking for toilet paper, thermometers, cleaning supplies, things like that. We have a list of those necessary items on our website as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything from us. Unfortunately, we don't really have the ability right now for people to come out and volunteer, but once this is all, you know, settled down in some ways, hopefully we'll be able to open up our doors again and let people come out. And that's a huge part of what we do, is inviting the community out to serve with us. So we're hoping that soon we'll be able to have that happen again. But yeah, we're missing all of our volunteers and all of our supporters. So yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions after. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Anna, for being here. And again, your organization's awesome, and thanks for what you do for the community. And I know that South Austin Rotary is very involved with you guys, and we look forward to continue that relationship in the future. Okay, so now we have our very own District Governor-elect, Rick Stacy, who's going to discuss some service project ideas that he and his club and other clubs have been working on. So, Rick?
Thank you. Folks, we have 57 Rotary clubs, and there is not one club that can't do this, okay? You can start Monday if you like. There's a perfect storm going on with 3 fronts. Number one is you have a group of people out there that are not first responders as such, but they have to be there every day at work and they are really servicing a need. And that's the ones that are working in the restaurants, but more importantly, the retail stores like H-E-B and Walmart. Number two is that you have fast food restaurants that need business. Number three is you have Rotarians that are cooped up. They can't participate in much. They can't even have a face-to-face meeting, and they are eager to do something good. I kind of stole this idea from Bob Crouch, AG from Clean Heights, and we modified it somewhat. I was sitting at my desk. I sent out an email message to my club, Marble Falls, and said, I need 3 volunteers that will give $100, and we're gonna go feed the employees at H-E-B tomorrow. In 1 hour, I had 18 people that signed up. Now, since then, we've had another 9 to give us 27, so that's $2,700. So we went to Chick-fil-A. We had that arranged. We already had it approved at H-E-B to take food at lunch. So we pick up the sandwiches, we go to H-E-B, and we fed 90 employees that day. Now, since that time, we have done Walmart, we have done the city, the schools, the school system, the central office, every campus that is feeding kids for the summer. Those people need to eat as well. We've done all the first responders. We did police, fire, EMS, the evac system. Tomorrow we're going back to H-E-B again, starting our second round. On Saturday, we did the county workers, precinct 4, which is out in our area. And on Monday, we will be doing the city employees, the park maintenance and the park maintenance group and the city workers. They love it. We fed about 800 people, so time's up. And anyway, you can do it. Your clubs are ready to, members are ready to kick in $100. Anybody can do that. They send me the checks, I cash them. We do the food, we meet, and it's a fun thing to do. Go try it. Okay.
Thank you so much, Rick, and that's an awesome project. Also, I have a catering friend here in Austin named Lucille's Catering that does a lot of nonprofit work that's willing to make box lunches for clubs in Austin that are willing to do this. So if you want that information, let me know as well.
I forgot one important part. Let me just add this real quick. I have not asked the restaurants, Chick-fil-A and Chicken Express, for any donation. They need the money. They need the cash so they can do other things for other nonprofits and other groups that maybe don't have the money. We had the money to spend, and so we don't ask them for a discount, and they love to see us come in to buy.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to start this real quickly before we start the Q&A section. So again, if you have questions for the specific organizations, please write that in the chat, and we will get to you in just a second. But again, this is a wonderful array of different organizations in Central Texas and ideas from District Governor-elect Rick Stacy on what your club can do. So we really encourage you to go back to your club and to get inspired about different opportunities. Go to either these organizations because they need help. If you can mute yourself so everybody can mute themselves.
Put in an application.
Or Amber, if you can mute everybody. Thanks. Okay. Again, if one of these organizations is a little too far from your reach, go to your local food bank, your local blood bank, your local soup kitchen or homeless shelter, and find out what you can help them with. This has been a wonderful opportunity to hear from these organizations. I hope we get to have these relationships with these organizations even after this pandemic. And again, I want to thank all the guests for being on here. So let's open up to some questions. Amber?
Okay,
Patrick,
so
why don't we tell everybody to go ahead and start sharing their videos again if you want to.
Yeah, you can share your videos again. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you guys all for your time and your insights to your projects. This is going to be fantastic. I think really valuable for all of us in our clubs. I know and we only have about 5 to 8 minutes left for Q&A, so I'm going to ask y'all to make your answers real quick. But Mickey, you had a question here about your guys. How quickly do they graduate out of there? What's your like average residence?
For some reason, I'm not able to undo my video. So can you hear me at least?
That's good.
Okay. I would say that the guys stay an average of 3 to 6 months for maybe 50 to 60% of them. The others linger on because they really don't have a lot of other options in their life, or their family has rejected them after they've gone to prison. We've had people stay as long as 15 years, believe it or not, and literally we've had a few die in their rooms before we got them to a hospital. You know, we just find them passed away. But and then some of them, we don't even know if they've, quote, graduated or not. I'm sorry to say, we just know they leave, and we don't know exactly what they've done. Sometimes we get them into recovery programs because they relapse. So I would say the average stay is 3 to 6 months.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Hey, there was another question here, Rick, for you. How did you say you contacted HEB or Walmart or the group, whoever it is you're wanting to surprise your local heroes with a meal for?
We called the store manager and would talk to them. In the case of HEB, I shop there a lot. So I caught the guy, I said, hey, or what day's best for you? And he said, Saturday. And I said, okay, we'll be there at noon. And for other ones, I would just call, you know, just make a phone call and make sure, get a time and how many people. And so, and they take care of everything else. It's real easy. It's a very simple thing to do. So it doesn't take a lot of planning, doesn't take a lot of brain power.
I love, there were a couple of those that were really stuck out for me today. I think it was Mobile Loaves and Fishes. Did you guys, y'all had a link with a list of items that you need? I love that. That's a great club project. Send that link out to everybody in your club and let them purchase whatever needs they have. That's a really great idea.
Amber?
Yeah, Jim.
I had a question from Lorraine at the Rotary Club of Austin addressed to Mickey, wanting to know how they can get clothes to Mickey. Do they put it in a bag? Will somebody pick it up? Exactly how can they get clothes and maybe other donation items to you?
So back on Mickey's slide, and again, these slides are going to be posted up on the district website, so everybody's going to have this information. But on that slide, it has her address. If you can get it to her, you can just give her a call or an email or coordinate with her ahead of time. You can literally just pull up. She'll pull it out of the back of the car. She'll have one of the guys come out and get it out of the back of the car for you.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Thank you, Lorraine.
Okay, so I know we're going to still have some more questions, you know, as everybody gets off the call. Again, all this information is going to be on the district website for all the organizations. I have no doubt that clubs all over Central Texas are going to get involved with each one of these organizations. They're very important to the community. And again, I want to thank you for being on the call. A couple of notes real quick. We also have another list, some more of an ongoing list of service projects that different clubs have been doing. We are going to put that on the district website. We have a entire page dedicated essentially to this Zoom series, as well as the COVID-19 information. We are going to put a living document of different service projects on the website. If your club has something that they've done with these organizations we've met today, or another organization, like what Rick was talking about, send us this. Send it to Pam, Amber, myself. We will put this information on the district website so you can go on there and start working with each other, maybe partner with a couple of different clubs and try to really make a bigger impact. So I hope that everyone's gotten some inspiration today and some specific ideas that they can do with these organizations and beyond in your community. I want to make some notes.
Patrick, can I
yes.
say something really quick?
Yes.
In related to Rick's idea about what he was doing, which is, I really think everybody can do something like that. When you're deciding to deliver food, you might look into some local businesses that need the help, some small businesses in your area. If there's a local pizza place, I don't know if Larry Jackson is still on, but I know LaGrange delivered pizzas, and I think they delivered it from a local pizza place. If you've got a local hamburger joint or a local sandwich store, that goes a long way. Not to say we don't want to support Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or anything, But if you've got a local small business restaurant or something like that, consider that too. And when you're buying your food for these local heroes.
Cool. I agree 100%. Okay, so we have some again, I can't reiterate enough how thankful we are for our guest speakers today. So again, thank you guys for being on the call. We will be in touch, we'll be involved, and we're going to help everyone get through this. We have some exciting episodes coming up the next couple of weeks. We have gotten confirmation this week that next week we will have Helen Reisler on the call. She is a former representative to the United Nations for Rotary for 10 years. She was also the first woman president of the New York Rotary Club. Her executive director will also be on. She'll be discussing sort of what's it like to be a Rotarian, not only in New York, but what is the UN's involvement, Rotary's involvement from that area. It's going to be Helen Reisler is one of the best speakers in Rotary, period. So I recommend you spread the word and tell all the Rotarians in your club and beyond to jump on this call next week. We are then the next week. So it's like we have back-to-back two of my favorite Rotarians. The next week, we will have former Vice President of RI, Jennifer Jones, on the call. And she'll be talking about Rotary's response around the world and how Rotary is mobilizing to respond to this pandemic. She's an amazing speaker, inspiring, and it's an honor to have both of these Rotarians on the series the next couple of weeks. So, and we have a lot more ahead of that. So we're working hard to continue a really strong series to get clubs and Rotarians continue to be inspired as being a part of the #1 service organization on the planet. So again, spread the word. We also are filming all these. We're recording all these. All the links will be on the district website a couple days after the episode. So go back to your club. Tell your fellow Rotarians or even some guests. Jump on our district website. Watch these Zoom meetings and get inspired and learn more about what's going on in our district and beyond. And if you know of anybody else that could really benefit from the information today, have them go to the district website. They can watch this entire series, get a hold of these organizations, and help out. With that, is there anything else, Jim or Amber, that I forgot before we do a little special song?
I'm ready to sing.
Okay, we have a very special birthday today from one of our favorite Rotarians, Monique Hodges. It's her birthday. It's her 21st birthday today. So we're going to sing happy birthday all together. On the count of 3, we're going to start right here. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy
birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. This is a Saturday Night Live skit right here. I love you, Monique. Happy birthday to you, and hope you're enjoying.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank God we're not a singing district.
So again, it's awesome to see every single one of you on here. Thank you for being here. We're working really hard to give benefits. So hopefully you're enjoying these series. If you have any feedback, please let us know. And if you're enjoying it, please spread the word on your social media pages and on your Facebook club pages. And we will see you next week with Helen Reisler. Feel free to stay on and say bye to everybody. But for now, thanks for being here, and happy Good Friday and Passover.
Thank you.
Bye.
Not just everybody gets to have a reverberated happy birthday sung to them.
There we go. There we go.